Okay, today I want to talk about something a little bit different, which is a tool that I've been using called rclone. And what rclone is a command line tool that utilizes rsync to transfer your local data to and from proprietary, well, not necessarily proprietary, but cloud storage solutions. So for those of you who don't know what rsync is a also a command line tool that utilizes compression to transfer files over a network. And for any of you that have tried to transfer large files or groups of files using SFTP, you'll very quickly realize why rsync exists. Now, I'm sure that there is many more uses for rsync, but that's primarily my experience with it. So, rclone is based around rsync, but instead of transferring files to and from different machines on a network, you can transfer it, like I said, to and from cloud-based storage solutions. So today I'm going to be doing a little demo with my Google Drive account. So as you can see on the website here, rclone is available or works with any of this large list of cloud storage sites. So personally, I've just been using it with Google Drive. One great thing about rclone is, as you can see, the documentation is very thorough. Oops. So that'll just take you to the site, but this little book will give you quite a bit of documentation. And I highly recommend reading at least this initial configuration guide. It's very intuitive. It's just going to guide you through a series of prompts and ask you for some information to help you configure or set up a remote that is pointed to your Google Drive account. So for sure, we can see that rclone is available in the Ubuntu repositories. So let me just show you that quickly. Oops, forgot the R. And there it is. And this is how I downloaded it. But if you're using a different distribution, you can check in the repositories for that distribution, or you can get it from the GitHub page. You can clone it. Additionally, let's see here, I am very sure that you can download it from source, or the tarball, that is. Oh, maybe not. Let's see here. There is an install script, it looks like. And let's see here. For the BSDs, they have something, even Solaris. I don't know what Plan 9 is. That sounds kind of cool. And they have the .rpm for Fedora and .deb. Oh, and here is probably the tarball. Let's take a look here. Zip file, but okay. And then it does look like there is an installation script as well. That you can, they give you a little tutorial guide here. You use curl to download it, and then pipe that to sudo bash, meaning that bash will run this install script with root privileges, of course. So anyway, so let's get started. Like I said, I highly recommend reading the excellent documentation at rclone.org. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to pull up my Google Drive account. I'm going to use the just the website here. Okay. And this is my Google Drive account. I somehow zoomed in to a very inconvenient resolution, and I don't really have the time right now to figure out how to zoom out. Actually, let me try something here. Okay, doesn't matter. We don't need to see that. I'll just use the full screen here. So, let me walk you through a little bit about Archelon. Minimize this. Just get my terminal up here. Let's clear this baby out. And let's look at the manual. Brief little description here. Lots of stuff that you can do with this. So this is the first thing that you're going to do, is this rclone config. And it's, like I said, it's going to guide you through a series of prompts to set up a remote. So I've already done this, but I can show you sort of what it looks like here. So that's showing me the remote that I've already set up. You can set up a new remote or edit it, rename it, etc. I'm gonna edit it. I'm not really gonna edit it, but I'm just going to show you a little bit about the config option here. So it's going to ask you the type. You're going to say Google Drive. There's a lot of different options here. As far as security, you can reset the root folder. I'm going to say no here, but just quickly, it is going to guide you very easily through a procedure to authenticate. You can see this access token here, and it will work with the website to help you set that up. So I'm not going to actually configure this, so I'm going to say no, 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 root folder ID, yes, is this okay? Yes, I didn't change anything. No, no, and quit. And let's clear this out again. So, let's start from the beginning. Let's say, as a scenario, that you have created a brand new folder full of files, and you would like to copy that to your Google Drive. So I'm going to create a test file here, and as well as the folder. So the folder we are going to call test2, because I think I already have a test folder. And let's put some files in there. So that's a test file. We'll do test. We'll do a script. And just for shits and giggles, we can do a PowerShell script. Okay, so we can sort of examine that. We have made a test directory with these files. and that is in my home folder, and as you can see indicated by this tilde here. So let's copy that to Google Drive. The syntax is very simple. So what we're going to do here is say rclone, copy. We're going to give the path of our directory, and we are going to use this syntax. So that's my remote, colon, and then the pathway that you would like to set up in Google Drive. Now, if you are copying the whole folder into your root directory, I should specify that by default Google Drive is set up in here to use the slash as the root, just like in your default Linux systems. You can change the root and the scope in the configuration, but I haven't done that. I haven't found a need to. So anyways, if we leave it like this, this isn't going to copy the whole test2 folder into my Google Drive. What it's going to do is it's going to copy the files in test2 into my root directory. And we don't want to do that. We want to make a new folder, also called test2. You could name it something else if you like, in the root directory. So we do need to specify the directory that's going to be created here. So let's do that. Not the fastest thing in the world, but pretty fast. If you're going to do large files, it will take a pretty significant amount of time. But it is actually going to be possible to do that, whereas if you just use the web interface here, it will not, it will probably freeze. So let's take a look here. Let's refresh. So we have my drive. This is my root folder. And let's look here. We have a new folder, test2. And test2 contains 3 files that I created locally. So there we go. We have copied a newly made folder from our local machine into my Google Drive account. So I also have a use case sometimes to copy the contents of a folder, not the folder itself, into an already existing folder that I've created in Google Drive. So let me pull this up again. What I'm going to do here to demonstrate that is to use the test2 folder that I already created. So in this scenario, you know what, why don't I make a new one just to sort of separate these concepts out a little bit. Let's call this new. So I've created a new folder using the web interface that only exists in Google Drive. And this new directory is located, oops, not what I wanted to do at all. Let's try that again. Like I was saying, this folder is going to be located in the root directory of my Google Drive account. So, perfect. And what we want to do here is to, let's find another folder here. I had previously made a test folder. Let's add some more files here. Touch test. And we'll include a PowerShell script. Touch test. And we'll include a bash script. And touch test. And we'll include a, let's see here, let's get creative here, a JS script. So let's call that java s.js. Okay, so we can list that here. So we can see in test, we have these 4 files. And what we want to do is copy only the contents of this test file into an already existing folder, which is the new folder in my Google Drive account. So, once again, the syntax is very simple. rclone, copy, and we're going to say the path right here is test. Oops, need a slash there. Test, and we are going to use glob, and that's my remote colon, and the pathway is new. All right. Oh, I may have made an error here. Let's see. So rclone copy, we need the source and the destination, which I thought I did, but we may have made a mistake here. Rclone copy, saying that that is the source, and this is the destination here. Okay, well, this is somewhat embarrassing. Let's see what we did before. Something here is for sure not valid. Two arguments maximum. So what I'm going to guess here is that there is not support for glob functions. Now that may not be true. I may be making another mistake, but I can still demonstrate this concept. And you can do scripting to make a little loop here if you want to copy all of the files in this test folder into the new folder. But let's just take one. For example, we'll take the PowerShell script. Okay. And let's check my Google Drive account. Okay. And let's go into the new folder. And there you have it. PowerShell script that is totally blank. So, like I said, you can do a little loop function using some scripting to repeat this command with all the files in the test folder. Now, globbing may work, but there's a very large chance that I'm just doing it improperly. So let's go over, let's clear the terminal. Okay, and the next thing I want to go over is the syncing function, which is a pretty much the primary use case that I found for Archelon. So sort of my workflow will go that I'm going to copy a brand new directory into Archelon, and then when I make any changes on my local machine here, then I'm going to use sync to copy only the new contents into my Google Drive account. Now, you can do this the opposite way. You can sync so that newly created files in the Google Drive are uploaded to your local machine, but I have not found a use case for that. You should be able to look at the manual to find the syntax for that, but I believe it's pretty much identical to what I'm going to show you, just switching some things around a bit. So the syntax here is as follows. So let's take an example here of something that I actually do need to do, and we'll do it live here. So I have a folder in my home directory called Git, which I have my GitHub repository. So let's cd into that. Let's take a look. And these are the different directories within Git. And I need to sync it with what's in my Google Drive account, because I've made some changes recently. So let's take a look at that here. So let's go to my drive and Git, and we will see that I do have these directories, but what I'm missing is a recently written script, still very much a work in progress, and that script is called, I forgot it, mounter. And let's just see what files we have in there. So we have the script and the README. So that's only on the local machine, and what we want to do is to just copy the changes, which is this new directory, into the already existing Git directory on my Google Drive account. So syntax, again, very simple. Rclone sync, and we're going to do the path, the source path, which is my Git account, and I don't think removing the trailing slashes is necessary, but there is, if you ever do use just rsync, the trailing slashes are very significant, so I'm just going to follow that syntax. And the remote here, and the path in my Google Drive account. Alright, now I'm going to add a little flag here, just because if you have something that is pretty sensitive and you do this sync and you, I don't know, flip the arguments around here, it could be pretty disastrous. So you can add this dry run flag here. It's not going to actually make any of the changes, but it is going to show you what it would do. So let's do that. Okay. So quite a bit of output here. See, doesn't appear to be quite done yet, but let's take a look at some of this. So it's telling us that we have this mounter folder, and that it would normally be copying it, but because it's a dry run, it's not doing so. But we can examine this to see the changes that are going to be made. It's mostly copying here. Wow, quite a bit of output here. I didn't quite realize that there was so many of these hidden folders and files in the Git repositories. Updating modification times as well. Here's another copying. Don't see anything about removing or deleting, so that's good. Okay, and I'm going to stop this because I think that's enough to demonstrate it. So let's do that without the dry run. And this may take a little longer than I had anticipated, just based on this output here. I didn't quite realize that there was so many of these changes. Mostly about updating modification times, as well as the hidden folders. So, waiting. Let's see here. I'm not going to stop recording. I'd prefer not to do that. So, what should we do in the meantime? Let's look at some other fun stuff. Let's look at a Mastodon client that I like very much. It's available as a snap package. It's called Whalebird. I think the UI is just awesome. You can log into your different accounts in different Mastodon instances, check those, look at the timeline, local timeline, public timeline. I haven't quite sort of worked out all the details about how Mastodon works, but it is an open source solution to something like Twitter. However, it's decentralized, and there's a variety of different servers that you can explore here. This is something I just signed up for called layer8.space, so that's one Mastodon instance that you can join. There is quite a lot of them, and it seems like kind of a fun way to explore some of the weirder corners of the internet. One I do recommend, though, is linuxrocks.online. There's some great people on here. A lot of the Jupiter broadcasting people are on here. And you can find lots and lots of instances that are about Linux or open source. Here's another one, floss.social, pretty active as well. As you can see here, there's a GNOME account, a lot of official open source projects. Let's see another one, Mastodon. Okay, so let's see if we're ready here. Nope, still working. So this is less than ideal, but we can still do some fun stuff here. Let's continue looking at Mastodon. Not quite sure of the actual site. Oop, misspelled. This is the band Mastodon. I highly recommend. But anyway, here is Mastodon, the social network. So you can use this website to find a variety of different communities. Most of them are tech-based. Let's just take a look at this. I am a sports fan. I speak English. Motorsport, tech and others. So, Dallas sports teams, that's interesting and sort of oddly specific. So, we can sign up for this. I already have a Mastodon account, which you can follow me, J26Brad. Probably the best one is at linuxrocks.online. So I have my email address here, and I'm just going to type in my password. So this is one of the things that's kind of a pain about decentralized projects like this, is that you have to manage. You can't, it's unlike Twitter in that you can't manage all of, since you're signed into different instances, you need to log into each. You can't just, like Twitter is one centralized platform, so you only need to log in once to look at everything. But you need to log into each instance to look at your Mastodon. So it's going to send you an email to confirm. And I'm going to sign in here. And there we go. It's going to tell me my full handle here. So this is how people can reach you. And let's take a look at the instance. So it does appear fairly active, at least with this one person. And let's look at the different timelines here. Oops, that is the settings. There's the federated timeline. So, like I said, I haven't quite worked out the specifics, but I do know that the federated timeline, as you can see, are people from all different instances. Whereas, of course, your local timeline is only going to be people from the specific instance that you are logged into. So let's take a look at how we can add this account to Whalebird. Still working. So let's say we want a new instance here. So the one that we are going to join is called, I believe, DallasSports.fans. Okay. Log in. It's going to use a browser pop-up to authorize. It's going to ask you to copy the code into the app. And there we have it. And you can browse this instance. It pretty much appears to be one person. Oh, that's interesting. Anyways, that's a little tutorial about Whalebird, which I think is a great little app. Like I said, it's available as a snap. Also, there is a GitHub page that you can clone. And I'm going to delete. Let's see here. I am going to delete the Dallas Sports Fans instance because I am not a Dallas Sports fan. And it doesn't appear to be all that active. You can change the themes here. I kind of prefer this brown one, but here's one. That's pretty nice. Don't like? Alright. Don't like. And you can do something custom, which I very much do not have the patience or will to try. Let's see where we are at here. Okay, so it appears to be done. Now, if this is successful, this new mounter folder with the files will be in the previously existing Git directory in my Google Drive account. So let's go back to that. Let's refresh. And let's take a look at Git. And mounter is here with the script, the README, and the hidden Git folder. So that's all I wanted to show you today. Highly recommend checking out Archelon if you use cloud-based storage. And excellent documentation. I will include the links in the show notes. You can find me at my Mastodon account, which is at J26. And let me show you the different instances that I use. Mostly, the best one is going to be J26Brad at linuxrocks.online. You can find me on Twitter at J26Brad. You can check out my GitHub page, which is at github.com/bjelinek26. That's me. And there is some very simple and somewhat sloppy scripts that I have on here. And of course, you can check out this YouTube channel and subscribe for further videos. And that is Linux Lives on YouTube. Okay. Thanks for watching.